Good afternoon. We're about to get started, so if everyone could please take their seats. And if you haven't silenced your cell phone yet, please do. All right, welcome to the 7th annual Big Idea competition. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Des Stone-Menendez, and I'm the Director of Innovation. And this is my second year running the Big Idea. I would like to begin by thanking President Tiefenthaler and Life Trustee Bob Selig, as none of this would be possible without their vision. Before I get into the details of the program, I would like to introduce Life Trustee Bob Selig and invite Bob up for some opening remarks. Hold on. Well, I'm going to introduce you first. I'm going to introduce you first. Okay. Bob and his wife Meryl are our earliest and strongest supporters of innovation at CC. I presently hold the Selig Family Chair of Innovation, so I think it's safe to say that I would not be here if it were not for them. Bob graduated from CC in 1961. In addition to being a Life Trustee, he is an external advisory board member for innovation at CC and is presently the co-chair of our campaign steering committee. In his life outside of CC, Bob is an entrepreneur and president of Davis Instruments Corporation, a company he founded 50 years ago with a fellow MBA after graduating from the Stanford School of Business. It would really take the whole program to tell you about everything Bob has done and continues to do, so I'll just say that he lives in the heart of Silicon Valley and engages with a wide range of entrepreneurs, both as an advisor and an investor. Bob has been a judge at all 6 previous Big Idea competitions. His commitment to the college cannot be overstated, and it has been an honor to work with him and Meryl over the last 2.5 years. Please join me in welcoming Bob Selig.
Thanks, Des, and welcome to all of you. The Big Idea, 7th edition, and I've been to all of them, as she said. Des is really the one who makes this happen. She organizes it, does all the heavy lifting, but more importantly, Des is having a tremendous impact on this whole campus as the Director of Innovation. Since she arrived back on campus in late 2016, we've seen this program come to life, grow, broaden, and strengthen under her leadership and hard work. CC has always been an innovative place, and I should know, since as she said, I've been involved with CC in one way or another since 1957. That's 62 years. A few years ago, our board decided to be bold and ramp up the innovation initiative. We affirmed that connecting across all disciplines is key to creativity, innovation, and genius. And we went to work to minimize the silo effect on campus and to plan the building of a world-class innovation hub, which will help bring out the very best in our students, a place where we can get serious about changing the world for the better. The Big Idea is a keystone to this plan. I was proud to be a judge for all previous Big Idea competitions. And we're very proud that many of the previous teams are still alive and kicking, including Kadi Energy in Ghana and Wadi Climbing in Palestine. All 3 of last year's winners continue to work hard on their businesses. Chica Chocolate will be scaling its business in Boulder when Cassidy graduates. George and Alex graduated last year, moved to the Bay Area, and have been working hard to launch Raw Sauce. They've refined their recipes in an FDA-approved commercial kitchen, have redone their packaging and branding, and are getting close to a formal launch. And Momentix is back in the finals today competing, so I'll let them tell you what they've done this past year. Thanks to the students and advisors for all 11 teams who rolled up their sleeves this year, culminating in the Final Four. Des, I'm going to give the ball back to you now. So.
Thank you, Bob. So I'm going to give a quick overview of the process. We have 4 teams competing today. Each team will have 10 minutes to pitch, followed by a 5-minute Q&A with the judges. The judges have a scorecard with a points-based system. There will be announcements in between teams, and I promise I'll introduce the judges after the first team's presentation. If you're a student, you should have gotten a raffle ticket on your way in the door. There will be raffle drawings throughout the program, but the grand prize drawing with $400 in gift cards from local businesses will be at the end of all the presentations. There will also be a cheering competition at the end of all the presentations. I emphasize that this will be at the end of all the presentations while I'm deliberating with the judges. When all teams are done presenting, judges will convene and we will announce the winners and award prizes at 5 p.m. I'll talk more about the process later in the program, but I want to let students know why the prize money has shifted from $50,000 to $25,000 this year. While the students who participate in the Big Idea get a lot of value out of the program, it is in many ways a grand finale program that not every student has equal access to. Right now, the Big Idea Half Block that I team teach with Jake Eichengreen is the main prep and support offered for the program, and not every student who wishes to compete is able to take the half block. There is a need for more accessible early stage programming that will empower more students to engage and prepare to compete in the Big Idea. Further, many students would like to engage and learn about iterating a venture forward, but do not wish to compete in the program. For this reason, resources have been reallocated, and we have created the Changemaker Workshop series, which will teach and prepare students to iterate an idea forward over several months. This series is a collaboration with Peak Startup, a local nonprofit whose vision is to grow a strong, vibrant startup ecosystem of companies, investors, and entrepreneurs and talent in the Pikes Peak region. The first workshops will be piloted this spring, and the full series will be offered this fall. While this workshop will be a really strong stepping stone for students to participate in the Big Idea, students may participate regardless of their interest in the Big Idea. And interested students can learn more about this by visiting our website, and you can sign up for the series right now on our website. This is just one example of what the reallocated resources will be used for. The Innovation at CC team is committed to continuing to iterate this program and to build auxiliary programming to make it accessible and inclusive for all students. Before I announce our first team, I want to give you, the audience, a job. It takes a lot of courage for these students to pitch their ideas in front of a panel of judges and a live audience. So your job is to believe in and support these teams today. They've worked really, really hard, and they deserve it. I told them that they are among friends. So our first team presenting is Infinite Chemistry. CC student team members presenting are Prakar Gotham, Paul Price, and Nicole Cheney. Additional team members not presenting are CC students Pietro Giacomine and Kochi Nakajima. Please join me in welcoming Infinite Chemistry.
Good afternoon. I'm Prakar. This is Nicole. There's Paul. And we are Infinite Chemistry. Chemistry is the study of everything that we know and most of what we don't. It's that subject that's got our team's interest, and we think it'll get yours. We're CC students who are using virtual reality to update chemistry's 250-year-old teaching model for students, researchers, and professionals. I'm a biochemistry major at CC, and I've spent the last 3 years doing chemistry like this. I've learned a subject inherently about 3D shapes and molecules in 2D through a piece of paper. From Chem 1 to Organic Chem 2, I've been forced to learn how to visualize complex reactions that are occurring in 3D space on a piece of paper. My fellow classmates, who are future scientists and doctors, are also forced to use this archaic model of learning that prohibits effective scientific research from occurring. Having to visualize these tiny particles on a 2D plane has made chemistry way more inaccessible than it needs to be. That's where Infinite Chemistry steps in. Why should we teach chemistry like this if we can do this instead? My team has created a virtual reality software that allows users to upload, visualize, and manipulate molecules in a 3D setting from any chemical database online. Not only that, they can upload multiple molecules to see reactions occur right in front of their eyes. And no, we're not going to stop there. That's way too easy for us. We're going to incorporate all of the higher level abstract concepts taught in higher level chemistry so students never have to be limited by an archaic model ever again. So who is Infinite Chemistry? We're 21st century students who are to provide a 21st century solution. Our team is here taking on this challenge. I've done months of research, understanding, and working with 3D molecules. 3 of my teammates are software developers who each bring individual leadership experience to the team. Paul has successfully run a charity for several years. Pietro, over there, has experience working on a startup from last year. Kochi is the winner of several work grants and has used them to help revitalize the Springs community. Nicole currently works at CC's IT department and has used her knowledge of the tech sector to help build our financial projections. We have 4 very strong advisors on the team, 2 of which are giving us their financial advice to help build our startup experience. And the other 2, they've helped us combine chemistry, physics, and code to create the engine necessary for our software. Now over to Nicole to tell you more about the features of Infinite Chemistry.
Thanks, Prakar. So what are the applications of this software? Here's a story to put it into perspective. In the early 1980s, scientists discovered one of the first drugs that was helping curb cancer. This drug was so effective that the cure rate for testicular cancer went from 10% to 85%. At the same time, scientists were unknowingly creating another version of the drug that didn't have the same life-saving effects. Scientists spent years trying to solve this problem. Why was it that one form cured cancer and the other seemingly identical molecule didn't? They later discovered that it was because of the shape of the molecule that it affected how it interacted within the body. This problem was derived from the pen and paper model, not being able to truly show the way in which drug interactions work. If infinite chemistry had been around, scientists would have been able to get to that conclusion just a little bit quicker. We spent the last summer creating our prototype and developing a relationship with CC's chemistry department. Already, we've done more than 50+ student trials, and we've been approved to use our software in CC's advanced inorganic chemistry class this month. Through these student trials, we've discovered that students prefer working with molecules in a VR environment rather than with the pen and paper or with the mouse and keyboard. But this isn't just about intuitive learning. It's about creating an environment in which students are able to work. We want to help deal with the world's biggest challenges, like climate change and medicine, in a modern way. To do so, we plan to equip people with the tools and technology to make the invisible molecular world visible and make collaboration simple. Infinite Chemistry provides a shared environment for labs, students, and professors. Scientists and other professors can meet in the same virtual space and do research together. By providing a singular and unlimited storage space, our software will become the next Dropbox of chemistry. Moreover, we complete our reactions with code, not with chemicals. That means reducing the damage done to our environment by the 5 million tons of lab chemicals dumped down sinks every year. Infinite Chemistry is clean, collaborative, and a tool for solving all of chemistry's biggest problems. Now here's Paul with our financial projections.
The education industry has witnessed dramatic change over the past few years, but man, has it been slow to catch up. The advancements seen in technology and innovation are rapidly changing the market scenario and are increasing the need for cost-effective educational tools, which is why Infinite Chemistry will be able to grow in the VR, research, and edtech software markets that provide a $25 billion opportunity by introducing that cost-effective solution. Our early adopters, such as educators and professionals, will work side by side with us as we conduct user trials so we can hear what they want to see in our software. Infinite Chemistry will run on a 3-tier monthly subscription model. The first being HobbyChem, which is a free service that we'll provide because we believe getting people interested in chemistry is the most important thing that we can do. Our first paid tier will be Infinite Chem. This will mainly be for educators and will allow for customizable lesson plans that these educators can create so they can tailor their individual classes to their students' needs. Infinite Chem Plus is for professionals and researchers. This will allow them to do real-world experiments on our virtual reality platform. Not only that, but it allows for the complex reactions needed by cutting-edge researchers today. Infinite Chem Plus will be the new industry standard. This is our roadmap for the future. Currently at the Big Idea, competing for initial funding. With that, we plan to go out and develop more so we can release Infinite Chem in the year 2020. With the traction we gain from that, we're planning on going out, competing even more so we can raise more seed funding for Infinite Chem Plus's release in 2022. We're projecting to see our user base grow from a couple thousand users to over 50,000 users in just 5 years. That would show a return in revenue of over $7 million. These numbers aren't based off of nothing. They're based off of other edtech software startups, such as EverFi, which within 10 years were able to grow their user base to over 7 million users. However, we do know we're not alone in this venture, but we do know what separates us from the competition. Here's one of them, a model kit. This allows for the 3D representation of a molecule structure, but that's all it's capable of. And our 2 other competitors, this is all they can do too. Infinite Chemistry's prototype has already caught up to the competition, and our future is right now. We're currently developing an engine that would allow for those complex reactions needed when 2 molecules interact, so we can help chemistry take its next step into the future. Which is why our ask will be for $25,000. 70% of this ask will go towards software development. That would include preparing our second prototype for commercial release, also renting out cloud computing services and integrating user feedback. The rest of the ask will go towards marketing and networking as we go on to publish a research paper later this summer that we will present to science conventions around Colorado. But we're continuing to build the Infinite Chemistry community through public and private partnerships. UCCS, Pikes Peak Community College, and UC Boulder are all wonderful institutions that we're working with right now to complete beta tests on our software. Private partners, such as Accenture, have been providing us the resources we need to complete the development of Infinite Chem.
Silicone is the rocks that make up our homes. Oxygen is the air that we breathe, and carbon is the blood in our veins. Life and everything in between is chemistry. It's the smallest things that make the biggest difference. Infinity starts with us and with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go first. Is this on?
It is, yeah.
Thank you. It was lively, it was engaging, and very articulate.
Thank you.
How do you know that you have the right price for Infinity Chemistry and then Infinity Plus Chemistry? In other words, how did you back into those prices? I noticed at one point in the material that you were charging $10 for the hobby and decided against that, and I think that was very wise. But if you could just share with me your discoveries in terms of pricing.
Well, as we know, currently there's a software called Mathematica that has reached out to thousands of institutions around the US. And their pricing has been kept around similar to ours at about $100 per month on a subscription model. But the reason for that is so we can keep a sustainable business growing, because something like chemistry doesn't stop expanding. So in order for us to keep up with something like the science of chemistry, we need to be able to update the software and have the resources so we can continue to work on it. So that is why the prices are at that rate. We've done a lot of research to also look at other edtech software licenses, and they all tend to keep that general price because it's really important to keep that sustainability going in order to provide an updated software that will continue to work as chemistry changes itself.
My son said he can't get into the lab for Orgo because they don't have enough spots in the lab. Would the virtual reality allow a little bit more flexibility on that and allow more people to come into the lab at CC and other places?
Well, something that's really big that we're working on right now is not only providing Infinite Chem for a fully powered desktop computer that can run the up-to-date Oculus or HTC Vive, but we're really planning on scaling this program down so it can even be run on something such as a Google Cardboard, which is very inexpensive. So by allowing to do that, this would really give many people access, especially through a free product like HobbyChem.
Cool.
With the researchers that you've already met with and spoken with, what are they most excited about, and what are some barriers or some hesitations that you've seen from researchers that have been doing chemistry research for a long time?
Thank you. That's a good question. One of the things researchers really need is understanding molecular interactions, let's say inside the brain. So drugs, recent pharmaceutical drugs, are put on the market, but to understand their effects in the brain can be incredibly hard, just due to the amount of time it takes to test and to understand the interactions that happen with small molecule in a really large 3D space. So they're super excited to know and be able to do these interactions instead of having to do beta testing on people to see what it will look like in our software first, and then actually go out and have these medicines patented and put out for the public. And some barriers are the computing power it requires to have something as large as the brain being active or running. So, but with cloud computing, we hope to bypass that.
Have you all talked, about what each of you wants from this? Like looking future state, where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? What's it going to take to get there? What's the culture? What have you guys discussed aside from the product? What have you discussed in terms of building a company around this?
Well, one of the biggest goals for us really in the future is accessibility. As we mentioned with HobbyChem, one of our most important things is to get people interested in something like chemistry. And one of the big things we currently see on the market is large pharmaceutical companies raising the prices on drugs. So for us to build a healthy company culture, it's really important for us to have an understanding of what the market's like. So for us, we have to take a step back and understand what's it like to be someone who has to pay high prices for prescriptions. Well, this is a tool that would allow for people to create new drugs at a much cheaper price. So that's kind of something we're kind of building around and focusing, is creating an accessible and affordable model that also sustains itself through the prices in our subscription fees. And that's kind of what we're expecting to see in the future. We've currently spent a lot of time just really developing the software the past few months. We've been working very hard on that. And the business model is something we're really trying to build right now and really focus so it's something that's healthy for the future and can sustain itself.
Great job. I think you, 5 of you all did a great job, and you can see everybody's got a little role, which is great. Do you feel like this will allow more people to access chemistry? I mean, you kind of talked to that a little bit, but it just, learning in the 2D world, it's very intimidating, but maybe this will bring it to so many more that they may have it in them, but they didn't really know they had that ability until they see it this way.
Oh yeah, one of the most important things that comes out of this software is that being able to visualize something inside of your head isn't something you're born with.
Right.
It's a skill, it's something you have to build on. And this tool allows anyone that could be lacking in that ability to truly experience chemistry like anyone else would. Okay. And so with that, as we mentioned with the Google Cardboard, it's also about accessibility. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we have the cloud server, so we can create a centralized place for research data. This would then allow any of our customers to pull that data down and then experience what a professional is doing while maybe you're in high school or just a college student who's just interested in learning more.
Okay, thank you, Infinite Chemistry. While our next team is staging in, I want to take a few minutes to introduce our judging panel. I'm going to start moving from your left to right with Craig Jonas. Dr. Jonas founded CoPeace, which stands for Companies of Peace, in 2018 as a public benefit corporation for impact-driven businesses, a holding company like a modern Berkshire Hathaway that uses a proprietary head, heart, and math approach. Craig has been part of several diverse entrepreneurial ventures, including the company formerly known as Sports Vision, best known for inventing the virtual yellow line in NFL and the glowing blue puck in NHL broadcasts. Academically, he has served as an academic chair and been a lecturer and featured speaker in leadership, marketing, entrepreneurship, and conflict management. Craig is also a CC parent with a son who graduated in 2016 and another son who will graduate with the class of 2020. Thank you, Craig. Next, we have Michelle Gabrieloff-Parrish. Michelle graduated from CC in 2000. Michelle is the Energy and Climate Justice Manager at CU Boulder, the largest and oldest university environmental center in the country, illuminating the connections between climate, sustainability, and justice. She is the founder of the Eco-Social Justice Leadership Program and FLOWS. FLOWS partners students and low-income community members for conservation projects in affordable housing. She is a co-founder and executive board member of the Just Transition Collaborative. She is the founder and co-director of Candleless Glows, raising awareness about the radioactive dangers of Rocky Flats. She is also a former U.S. State Department Bold Food Fellow and a former Center for Progressive Leadership Fellow working on sustainable and equitable food systems. She is a multi-ethnic poet, student and teacher of permaculture design, wife and mother of 3. Thank you, Michelle. Next is Yubi Simonetti. I like watching each of your faces as your face comes up. Everyone's like, oh. Yubi is the Chief Strategic Connections Officer at Jobber Group in Denver, Colorado. Yubi has worn many hats in his career: business development, client support, solutions consultant, marketing, training, speaking. And these different roles have given him the passion for building companies. His work with various technology startups in Colorado has given him a front row seat to the good, bad, and ugly of how companies are being built. This, in combination with his Latino background and the experience of his immigrant father from Argentina, has driven his passion for changing how companies attract, retain, and develop diverse talent. As the Chief Strategic Connections Officer of Jobber Group, UB navigates community, partner, and client connections to maximize the impact of those relationships and to create new ones for the benefit of everyone involved. Thank you, UB. Next, we have Susan Smith-Kuzmarski. Dr. Kuzmarski graduated from CC in 1973. She is the co-founder of Kuzmarski Innovation, the innovation consulting firm that launched the Chicago Innovation Awards in 2002. The Chicago Innovation Awards mission is to celebrate, educate, and connect innovators across all industries and make Chicago a recognized hub of innovation. It has honored 280 winners. Of these, 44 have been acquired with an exit value of $90 billion, and 99% are still in business. Susan currently teaches Creating and Leading a Culture of Innovation at Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management. She is the author of 6 award-winning books, 3 on leadership and 3 on the contemporary family, including her just-released Lifting People Up, The Power of Recognition. She holds a doctorate and 2 master's degrees from Columbia University, where she was named an international fellow. Thank you, Susan. And last, but certainly not least, I'd like to introduce Jared Barnard. Jared is a patent attorney who works with startup and mid-sized companies to protect their intellectual property. Jared enjoys working with clients to develop plans for growth, commercialization, and operations. He specializes in helping startup and mid-market companies navigate and handle a variety of events in the business life cycle, from early startup through financing rounds and exit transactions. Jared has worked with a variety of clients in the software, medical device, and biotechnology industries. He is admitted to practice in Colorado, Minnesota, and before the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Jared is a graduate of Colorado College, class of 2006, and the University of Denver Sturm College of Law, class of 2011. Thank you, Jared, and thank you to all the Big Idea judges for being here. Our second team presenting today is Sapphire. CC student team members presenting are Louis Shu, Dee Adams, and Christian Kennedy. Please join me in welcoming Sapphire.
Thank you, Des. Thank you, Des. Just want to take a minute to say thank you to her and the department specifically. Without them, we won't be here. So thank you. But we're ready. So good afternoon. My name is Louis, that is Dee and Christian. We're the co-founders of Sapphire. We're excited to be here, and thank you so much for your time. So let me ask this. Who here has a smartphone or a laptop? All right, that's everybody. And have you ever wondered where your old devices end up? Well, most of them ends up in an e-waste dumping site just like this one. Growing up in rural China, we live next to an e-waste dumping site just like this. It polluted about 40% of local underground water, and because of that, my family had to drink bottled water every single day till this very day. A family of two like us generate about 5,000 plastic water bottles every single year. That experience inspired me to co-found Sapphire, a hardware company that's dedicated to produce a laptop sustainably and ethically, specifically tailored for emerging market consumer needs.
So what problems do consumers in emerging markets face? Laptops are primarily designed in developed markets where the specs and designs don't always match the needs of emerging market consumers. Big companies such as HP, Apple, and Dell take advantage of these emerging markets with predatory pricing. To put this into perspective, it would cost about $4,000 in Nigeria to purchase the same MacBook that would cost about $2,500 in the US. In addition, 46 million tons of electronic waste was generated in the developed world in 2016, the majority of which was shipped to developing regions such as India, Ghana, Nigeria, and China. Our goal is to solve these problems in all emerging markets. And after extensive market research, we have set our first market to be Nigeria. Across the Atlantic, the average Nigerian consumer lives a very different life. While we consider steady electricity and Wi-Fi access as the status quo in the US, many Nigerian consumers face problems such as electricity insecurity, lack of landline infrastructure for Wi-Fi connections, predatory and monopolistic pricing, as well as dangerous levels of e-waste dumping. And these are just some of the issues that consumers face daily. Our solution is to offer the first ever laptop specifically designed to meet the needs of Nigerian and emerging market consumers. But how do you know a person's needs without first asking them? We have listened to over 100 Nigerian consumers in order to come up with these features that meet their specific needs. Buying a laptop is a considerable investment. That's why our consumers want a laptop that is water resistant and shatterproof. Our laptops come with a solar chargeable power bank capable of charging our product even in the event of a blackout, in addition to SIM card compatibility to enable users to access the internet via mobile network providers. We offer repair, upgrade, and trade-in programs in order to retain user loyalty and reduce levels of e-waste dumping. Why throw out a product that just needs a few touch-ups? In addition, in the second stage of our development, we plan to introduce an e-waste recycling program in order to alleviate local dumping issues. We will proudly and confidently bring these features represented by our product to Nigerian and other emerging markets soon after. This is Lagos, one of the biggest cities in Nigeria. Just last year, Lagos consumers spent over $2 billion on tech products, and that was just last year. The number of middle-class consumers in Nigeria is expected to reach over 40 million in the next coming years. And in addition, recent trends show that more and more Nigerians are looking toward tech-specific careers, creating a natural demand for our product.
Many companies in emerging markets focus on selling low-quality but affordable products. Dell and HP do also have more expensive models, but with certain components still being low-grade. Apple and Samsung have high-quality, but frankly expensive and short-lived products. Not only is Sapphire the first company in the high-quality and affordable arena, we are also the first to design a product that actually meets the needs of Nigerian consumers. We stand by our buy once philosophy, as we despise the built-in obsolescence practices of large tech companies. Built-in or planned obsolescence is when a company intentionally builds a product that will be obsolete in 2 to 3 years, and so requires replacing. Every day, nearly 100,000 laptops from the US end up in landfills overseas. We don't want our products to end up in landfills ever. That's why for us, every purchase is a relationship that we want to cultivate way beyond a single product's lifetime. We are also conscious of our environmental impact, and we have a list of suppliers who share the same vision as us. We want to empower local communities by hiring locally. More, we are the first company to directly distribute our own product to Nigerian consumers, effectively cutting out the middleman cost. We have successfully established relationships with more than 3 investment firms, including Plum Ventures, who invested in the early stages of Alibaba. Intel Capital and Surface Inc. are our most prominent US partners. Intel Capital allows us to access their large, pre-existing selection of laptops, including models from companies such as HP and Microsoft, which will significantly reduce our research and design cost and time. Surface Inc., who've designed successful products such as the iPhone, MacBook, and Xbox, have agreed to work with us to design our products and to largely reduce our design costs as an equity investment. We also have a list of manufacturers and environmentally responsible supply chains ready to get to work. Before today, we have conducted qualitative and quantitative market research. We have interviewed over 100 Nigerian consumers, 90% of which have proactively asked when they can order our product or if they can pre-order it now, a strong market validation for our products. We've also flown across the country and across the globe and have successfully attracted the interest of investors and design firms. The Big Idea competition and its funding will enable us to begin working with Surface Inc., who's responsible for our industrial design and product prototyping. Once we have a prototype, we can return to the prestigious investors who have reached out to us in order to fully capitalize on our relationships with an actualized design. After that, we can scale up production and start breaking into the market. This team is fully equipped to accelerate at an enormous pace to achieve our goals, accompanied by investors, designers, and other partners who've been in the tech industry since its birth. All we need is your support to help get us off the ground.
Nigeria is a quick adaptive market with savvy consumers. With our high quality and fair price product, we will capture 15% of the market by the year 2025, which will bring our revenue to over $19.8 million US. So why were the people to do the job? I was actually a high school dropout, a young entrepreneur who started my first company at age 18, which I sold a few years later. I learned how to manage a team, investor relations, and how to maintain profitability and integrity at the same time. I have faced some of the same great pressures and difficulties which we'll face together. More importantly, I did not, and I certainly will not give up. My 2 closest friends and my 2 co-founders, who've been contributing from their own very unique perspectives and valuable knowledge across 4 different disciplines, from feminist and gender studies to economics, from computer science to environmental science. And of course, our successful, passionate, and very experienced advisors who've been guiding us along the way and share the same vision as us to lift others while climbing higher. And today, we invite you to join our movement and invest the power in your hand to change the norm of the tech industry and reduce e-waste dumping around the globe. No devices we use today should pollute a child's drinking water tomorrow. With your help, we'll have the momentum we need to secure our concept, design, and product development the potential of every single dollar you entrust us with today is already guaranteed by our designer and investor partners who already entrust us with their faith and commitment. I still remember, it was only a few years ago when I was traveling in Guiyu, a small town in rural China. I saw a 7-year-old child playing with e-waste once used by people who live on the other side of the globe. The air was charged with this smoky, intrusive taste of burning plastic and melted metal. Sapphire will be a successful and profitable company fulfilling the unmet needs of emerging markets. But the responsibility of every single entrepreneur should be to make the world a better place. That is our mission, and we will not give up. So, would you join us? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was incredible. My question is around the decision to focus on Nigeria. I feel like your story around China and both Nigeria and China are really focused right now on growing in terms of technology and having that be an important part of their economy. But it seems like you have this connection to China already, so I'm really curious about why focus on Nigeria and why start there versus China when this is part of your story.
So please allow me to guide you to this graph. And a very quick answer to your question is China is very competitive in that particular arena and is still very brand-focused consumer base. So in comparison to that, based on our research results, Nigeria consumers are way less brand-focused. Actually, just a couple of years ago, we talked to people at OnePlus and Xiaomi, and we're discussing the potential of having a simultaneous launch in both India and Nigeria, both developing markets with growing tech demand.
Yeah, I would just like to add that when Lou and I kind of first discussed this venture, we very much wanted our mission to be to reduce e-waste across the globe. And we wanted to do that by producing a sustainably and ethically produced laptop. And initially, we thought about entering the US market, since that was a market that was familiar to us, that we could kind of wrap our heads around. And as we did our market research, we found that there is very little interest in a product like ours in a market like the US. And so we began to really have to pivot about how we were thinking, both about the market and about producing this product, and trying to appeal to consumers. And that's when we realized through more market research that a market like Nigeria would be the perfect place to launch this product, not only because there is an unmet need in the technological field and the products that are available to Nigerian consumers, but also because they see firsthand the effects of dumping from other countries. And so we really want to shift the perspective of the tech industry by starting in companies or in countries like Nigeria and India.
Right. On additional Legos here, this is a chart indicating how much money consumers spend outside their daily needs, food, rent, etc. So China's right there, and Legos actually surpass China in terms of how much consumer need to consume on a monthly basis. And we're actually working with manufacturers both in Legos and China, such as Xenox and Lucky Star, to help them realize the importance of a environmentally sustainable manufacturing method and implementing water filtration and other ways of going forward.
Thank you for a very collaborative, creative, and inspiring pitch. Two questions. The first one, I'm curious from a practical point of view, how you set up interviews with 100 Nigerian consumers and collected data. And then my second question is your profit margins. They're very thin, and I know that's intentional because you hope to scale up. But they seem so thin. In fact, in your calculations, they were 21%. In my calculations, they were 17%. So I don't want to belabor that, but if you wouldn't mind just sort of quickly chatting about those two things.
In one of your packages, when I submitted, there's actually me a picture, Skyping with one of the consumers we interviewed. So what we did first was we found a marketing firm and basically have them as our ground team and the rest of the story, just staying up really late throughout the night and talking to different people. It was not very fun Christmas for me. And my girlfriend just left. She could have testified. To answer a second question, please allow me to guide you to this graph. The top one is margin per unit. So in the beginning, our margin is absolutely resistant, but also we're also planning on not releasing that many units in the first coming years. The more unit we produce, we estimate the more profitable it will be, and the more margin will be, and which will be reflected by the return of investment on the other end as well. And we're hoping to really bootstrap in the beginning stage and use this very small release, other than producing 400,000 models and trying to push them into the market. We're trying to really every single model we're producing, we're trying to sell them. Hope that answered the question.
I've got a quick, first of all, you get an extra, you definitely get a extra point for that, for your shirt. My question's on the sourcing. I get it that you're gonna be very careful, and is there a way to almost figure out a way that those materials that you're using, if they do get to become waste, are much better and more sustainable in some way? Does that make sense?
In terms of, do you mean in terms of the materials?
So
by the
eventually
time
some of these will probably still get there.
No matter what, someone's going to throw it away at some point.
Right. So is there a way to say, okay, when that happens, our product is still much better because of this, because of some of the things we've done?
We definitely really do want to mitigate in terms of like rare earth metals and damaging metals in the actual components in our computers. Because we are students who don't have any majoring in design or in prototyping, we haven't got together in an actual prototype with our components. We hope to use a combination of a recycling program, trade-in program, and responsibly sourcing parts that won't damage the environment when they do get to a landfill. And that's how we plan on mitigating. So when a computer eventually does get to the landfill and is broken down in whatever way, by reducing components such as lead, silvers, coppers, we can reduce that sort of an impact.
Right. And just on a quick note, on top of that, there's a very successful startup based in Europe called Fairphone. They have a modular design system and they recycle every single part. They have released a very comprehensive list of environmentally responsible supply chains and manufacturers. We have filtered that list to pick the ones we can use and we can rely on in the future. And we do have a trade-in program. If people trade in their older devices, we plan on refurnishing them. Instead of selling them, we're giving them away, and either for educational purposes or other charitable causes. And I think that's our time. And thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, thank you, Sapphire. While the next team stages in, I want to take a moment to applaud the semifinal teams who did not move forward to the finals this year. We had 15 teams registered in December, 11 teams advanced to the semifinals, and 4 were selected for the finals. We had 35 students across 11 teams, which is the most teams and students we have ever had participate. Every class year except for first years were represented this year. In terms of gender diversity, this is the most diverse year we have had within and across teams. 3 teams are women-founded and led, 2 teams are male-founded and led, and we had 6 teams that were mixed-gendered, including non-binary team members. It is notable that 7 of the 11 semifinal teams this year include international students, and 9 of the 11 semifinal teams are mission-driven, and their ideas are focused on high-impact solutions to real-world problems. This program is about so much more than you actually see on the stage today. It's about the process leading up to the event, and there are many students who put in an enormous amount of time that are not presenting today. I'm proud of the 11 teams that competed in the semifinals this year, and I look forward to continuing to work with them on their ideas. More than one semifinal judge commented this year that they were blown away by the depth and quality of the students' presentations. Just to name a few of their ventures, we had a B Corp and a nonprofit team that are both on a mission to provide access to education, one in Cameroon and one in Peru. We had 3 apps, one that seeks to cure loneliness and social isolation. We had a device to cure insomnia, as well as a subscription-based business to empower more girls to learn about and engage with computer science early on. Please take a moment to applaud our semifinal teams who competed this year. Before I announce our next team, we'll have our first raffle prize drawing.
All right, we'll keep this very, very quick. Jessica is going to pick out the winner, so the students, be ready with your raffles. And the number is 342219. Anybody? Anybody? Yay! All right. Yeah, that's quick.
Tell the audience what their prizes.
Oh, by the way, the first raffle is a hoodie from the CC bookstore. We have Ladyfinger letterpress, gift voucher, and Josh and John ice cream coupons. Yes.
All right. Okay, next up is advanced water sensing. CC student team members presenting are Jose Manje Castro and Nick Humphrey. Additional team member who is not presenting is CC graduate Geronimo Miranda. Please join me in welcoming advanced water sensing.
Hello everyone, my name is Jose. I'm a chemistry and math major, and this is Nick, a biochemistry major, and we are the co-founders of Advanced Water Sensing. Before we tell you about our revolutionary water sensor, let us just remind you of a terrible reality.
Flint, Michigan, 2014. By now, many of you may be aware of how this story is going to go. Soon after the city decided to save money by switching to an untreated and untested pipeline, children began showing up to the hospital in the thousands. Their symptoms ranged from hair loss to rashes to even severe cognitive development issues. The fetal death rate in Flint, Michigan rose more than 58% after this sudden switch. The underlying cause of all of this? High levels of lead in people's drinking water. 5 years later, Flint's water is still not safe to drink. Even worse, the symptoms of lead poisoning can be seen in up to 3 subsequent generations of people. As much as we like to think of it as one, Flint, Michigan is not an isolated case. It's estimated that over 6 million homes in the US alone are at risk for high levels of lead in their drinking water. So let me ask you something. Are you certain that your house is not one of these 6 million? And if not, is your health really something that should be a mystery to you? At Advanced Water Sensing, we're working to develop a sensor that detects concentrations of lead in drinking water, because it should not be a mystery what comes out of your tap.
Lead is an extremely toxic metal that is present in homes built before 1986, which is about 55% of all US homes. The effects on health of lead poisoning are severe and various, such as liver and kidney malfunction, cancer, and it's especially bad for children who can suffer from permanent impaired development. When lead is detected in water, daily activities such as cooking, showering, and making baby formula are all recommended to be done with bottled water, which is inconvenient, wasteful, and expensive. Across the US and the globe, similar cases have gone unnoticed for years because communities do not have equal access to testing supplies. The areas in red in the map show where there's high risk of lead in water. That's our on-campus zip code, where we are right now. I see you are drinking bottled water. Wise decision today. And that is the map of the US. It may not be immediately apparent from the map, but low-income urban areas suffering from this issue more than others. As you can see, the problem is not small.
So what if I told you that there's still not a good way to test for lead in water? Essentially, there are 2 market available options. The first of which, done by ProLab, is a service where you buy a small vial, you pay to ship it to them with your water sample, and then you pay a laboratory fee for them to test it. This culminates in about 3 weeks of waiting, a detailed lab report that's very hard to follow if you don't have a background in chemistry, and around $60 in fees. The second option, done by HealthMetric, are single-use individual litmus tests, which test for a certain action level, which is 15 parts per billion in water. These are single-use and are highly inaccurate. Where both of these systems fail is that they're not multi-use. In fact, the levels of lead vary throughout the day depending on how much you use your tap and what tap you're actually using. Because of this, it's crucial to test multiple times for lead. So we've collectively worked a little under 2 years to develop a tool that's not only reusable, affordable, but also accurate and very quick. Allow me to introduce to you Advanced Water Sensing's Lead in Water Sensor. This small, funny-looking device uses a reversible reduction and oxidation reaction to produce a light response in the presence of lead. And is very easy to use as well. All you have to do are drop a few drops of the sample that you're testing onto the device, download our app from the App Store, and then use your phone camera to quantify the amount of lead. It's very easy to use and can tell you within minutes exact concentrations of lead. What's even more exciting about our product is that we can take these same sensing principles and apply them to a vast variety of water-soluble toxins. We can test for other common metals, such as iron, copper, and mercury. We can even test for water-soluble toxins such as PFAS and PFOA, two very common contaminants in the Colorado Springs area.
With our current design, we can mass produce in little time and obtain a very healthy margin per unit, which will allow us to provide a tool to the people that need it most quickly and effectively. With further refinements and bulk quantities, we can cut this production cost by more than 50%, making advanced water sensing start to sound like a very good business idea. We have presented this prototype, but we envision many improvements that will make this an even better tool and an even better business. We want to improve our casing, packaging, and our app so that then we can conduct market testing that will allow us to fine-tune our business model and our marketing campaign. This marketing campaign will also double as an awareness-creating campaign targeted to the people that live in red flag areas, such as Colorado Springs. After we've done this, we want to move on to production escalation to produce the large number necessary by the strategic partnerships that we will then have. We envision already existing platforms to be the way to grow quickly and effectively. Starting with highly targeted Facebook and local newspaper ads, we will make sure that the people that need to hear about our products do quickly. Starting selling in platforms like Amazon that already successfully sell similar products, we will then move on to strategic partnerships, many of which we already have. Starting with environmental organizations, water filtration companies, plumbing and facility companies, politicians, are just a few examples of organizations that would benefit from working with us. But we also envision partnerships with large chain stores that with their already existing large distribution networks will allow us to bring this tool to the people that need it in this country. And as you might have guessed by now, that's pretty much everyone. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you think of Europe and its old buildings, China and its poor regulations, pretty much everyone needs our product. Our modest estimates are 600,000 units sold per year by the 5th year, but also focusing on community impact, hiring people from the most affected communities to help with production. Additionally, we will be looking into other products, such as the ones that Nick mentioned earlier, to become the one-stop shop when it comes to water safety. This will allow us to become the #1 brand in the billion-dollar water safety market.
So before we continue, allow me to introduce myself as well as the rest of the hardworking team at Advanced Water Sensing. I began research on this project a little under a year ago, working with Colorado College's own Dr. Eli Fahrencrew. Alongside Geronimo Miranda, I found my passion in developing this tool from the chemistry that I had read so much about and actually taking it to the next level and solving real-world problems.
No one goes into chemistry thinking they're going to make money. We instead stay for things that make us feel passionate, and for me, that thing has been this project since I joined. The science behind it is pretty interesting, and the prospect of publishing a paper on the subject is pretty exciting, but not as exciting as creating a real-life solution to this urgent problem. The possibility of making a real impact is what has me here today. And we're currently looking for people that feel the way we do to bring the skills that will help us fulfill our vision. With all of this in mind, we would like to request $25,000. With these funds, usage shown, we will be able to take the necessary steps to make this urgent, life-saving, revolutionary tool a reality. Regardless of the final judgment, The conviction in our work is already making us to look into other funding options.
So the results are in. 10 out of 10 doctors agree that drinking water is necessary for human survival. Currently ensuring access to clean drinking water, however, is a totally different story. Oftentimes, communities without scientific access to these expensive tests are left in the wayside when it comes to water safety. The money from this event will not only allow us to produce a product, but also to help bring our goals to these communities. This is not just about a single product, it's about environmental and social justice as well as clean drinking water for everyone, because no one should have to drink this.
Thank you very much. Now we'll take your questions.
Is there an alternative as far as, communities who don't have access to technology, the app, right? So is there an alternative to just using the device that gives you like a green light or versus a red light or anything like that?
That's one of the things we were looking into, like a built-in camera onto the device so that it would immediately measure and then tell you.
And that's part of our market testing, really see what the market needs are so we can fine-tune our product to the market needs.
It's very compelling, very tangible, very heartfelt, and you had a great flow to your presentation. You mentioned in your written materials and problem statement that you're going to be adding to your team with complementary skills.
Yes.
So I was curious as to what you're looking for, and in asking the question, I'm hoping that you might consider the whole area of people management and culture motivation. And the reason I share that with you is because a study just came out in 2019, and it listed hard skills that companies should have. There were 25, and the fourth one was people management. And then it listed soft skills, and the third one was collaboration. So I think as you go forward, it's very important to think in terms of who you're going to be adding, and my bias is more the people, people leadership.
Definitely, we are currently looking for business people, but certainly that's not enough to fulfill our vision. We're currently looking for anyone that feels passionate about this issue and that has any kind of skill that would help us, So that's pretty much everyone here today, so send me an email later, maybe.
Well, and along those lines, because I have the same passion, but from a storytelling perspective, right? So I might assume and probably do that my water in the U.S. is good. I mean, we have pretty good water right in Colorado, but I imagine anywhere except, maybe around here. But how do you, I mean, obviously this is a good way to sort of convince someone that the water I'm drinking is not clear, but even to get them to the point of buying that, how do you convince them that their country and their local government and isn't taking care of them, right?
As we mentioned, we're going to have very highly targeted Facebook and local newspaper ads, which will be focusing on this is the data that exists. There's a very high risk in your area, and then there's very affordable device that you can just buy and just make sure, just in case Yeah, that's our.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, to me, this seems like, and you were sort of hitting on it. I mean, there's a community aspect to this that I think is super important to what you guys are doing. I mean, it's to the talent question, right? It's going to be focused more on, that you're going to need to really have, people within each of these communities who are kind of doing that storytelling work for you.
Yeah, and we also have partnerships with environmental organizations. They already have many of these connections and community level knowledge that will benefit us and will benefit them.
On your current prototype, how accurate is it compared to what you get from a commercial lab?
Right now we're at 100 parts per billion, which is half an order of magnitude from the EPA threshold. But many of sites, if they have the problem, are in the hundreds and even thousands. So I wouldn't be too worried that this is not accurate. And with further refinements, we can make it even more accurate.
When you add some of the other elements that you're testing, it'll still be just one device? Will you have to toggle, like now I'm looking at mercury, now I'm looking at lead, or how does that going to be solved?
Ideally, in a perfect conditions, the different metals would be reduced at different voltages so that you could cycle through them and then account for the previous brightness and kind of normalize it in that sense. So it would just be one device that you run multiple times.
I have a couple of questions. One is if you have done any of your financial modeling with the software costs. It seems like you're really talking about the hardware with your costs. And then also, what I'm really curious about is what do you do when you find out that your water is dirty? And that's something that I actually work with in community is what do? You find out that your air is dirty, you find out that the water is a problem, then what? And is there a piece of that you all can help with?
So the first question, Nick actually worked on the app, so that mostly already exists. It just needs, to look nice so we can put it on the App Store. And the second question, which is something my mom asked me when I told her about the device, there's many things you can do. First of all, and most immediately, you can, buy bottled water, which is not the solution, of course. You can buy a water filter, which is an investment around $250, which you have to renew every 6 months. And we're currently looking into partnerships with water filtration companies to, as we said, become the one-stop shop when it comes to water safety. Actually, the coming summer, I will be working with a water filtration company that has a very similar vision to ours. And they're aiming to bring this affordable water filter that you don't need to renew. It's based on new science, just like ours. And with these partnerships, we just want to solve the problem for everyone affordably and effectively and quickly.
I have many, many people to thank that have contributed to make this program possible. It takes a community to support new ventures, and that means engaging with our local startup community. I'd like to start by thanking our fabulous semifinal panel that is made up of leaders in our local entrepreneurial and startup community. Thank you to Yemi Mobilade, Natasha Main, Kathy Zeringer, Chris Franz, and Alex Fiorello. Did I say it right? And they're all sitting here in the audience, which is so nice as well. I really had a blast working with you all this year, and I look forward to working with each of you in the future. The Big Idea program and the theme of innovation is possible because of the vision and support of a number of people here at Colorado College. Of course, we're all deeply grateful for the leadership and vision of President Tiefenthaler and the Colorado College Board to make innovation a central strategic theme and commitment of the college. I also want to thank our new provost, Alan Townsend, who has been dedicated to supporting this initiative since he joined our community this past summer. Thank you, Alan. An enormous thank you to Jake Eichengreen, Executive Director of the Quad program, who team taught the Big Idea half block with me for the second time this year. I love team teaching with Jake. We have so much fun, and I'm so appreciative of the countless hours he puts in with the teams. Thank you, Jake. I would also like to thank the innovation team. My entire team is new this year, so it was their first time running the Big Idea. A special thank you to Abushan Kadka, Innovation at CC paraprofessional, who handled all of the logistics and planning, and Jessica Hunter-Larson, Associate Director of Innovation at CC, for her support. This would not have been possible without either of you. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our unsung heroes at the college who often don't get thanked, which are our AV and communications offices. They put in countless hours every year to make this program run smoothly. There are more people who contribute to this program in those offices than I could actually name, but I would like to specifically thank Don Herbst and Bob Smalley in our AV department, and Naomi Trujillo, Stephanie Wirtz, and Jennifer Coombs in our communications office. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Jan Edwards, who for the second year has been responsible for our closed captioning on our live stream, and would also like to thank all of the advisors who have supported these teams. Thank you. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank our sponsors for all of the wonderful raffle prizes this year. Our main sponsors are Ladyfinger's Letterpress in Port Richards, both downtown local businesses. If you haven't been there, please go. Other sponsors this year are Mountain Equipment Recyclers, Mountain Chalet, Sunwater Spa, Josh and John's, Kemble's Peak 3 Theater, and the CC Bookstore. Thank you to all of our sponsors. As you can see, an enormous amount of people contribute to make this program possible. I am sorry if I missed you. Let's just give another round of applause to everybody who... And before I announce the final team, we'll do one more raffle drawing.
All right, so this second raffle drawing, the prizes are from CC Bookstore, Ladyfinger Letterpress, Josh and John's Ice Cream, and Kimball's Peak Theater, watching some movies. So the number is 34223. Lucky, lucky, who's lucky out there? Yeah. I'm gonna check that. All right. There you go, buddy.
Thank you, Abu and Jessica. Okay, so now it's time for our final team. Momentix is led by CC student Anna Gilbertson and CC graduate Alana Amat. Please join me in welcoming Momentix.
Thanks, guys. You have to grab one thing. We're going to sneak behind you really quick. The big reveal. Thanks. Hi, my name's Alana. I'm a 2018 CC grad with a degree in physics.
And I'm Anna, a current CC senior majoring in physics and integrative design.
And we are the founders of Momentix, a toy company aimed at kids ages 8 through 12 that inspires creative confidence and teaches an intuition for physics through chain reaction machines. This is a chain reaction machine, also known as a Rube Goldberg machine, and our kit provides the key connecting pieces that make them easier to make. And while Rube Goldberg machines are really fun, we're here today because of a big problem: the lack of diversity in STEM. US engineering undergraduates are only 19% women and 16% people of marginalized identities. Because science aptitude is learned and not innate, this is a huge waste of potential. So what causes this imbalance? We believe the problem starts young. Not all kids have equal access to quality educational resources. Science as a subject is intimidating, which disproportionately affects girls and people of marginalized identities. And our education system focuses on immediate success, leaving no space for failure in the learning process. We believe Rube Goldberg machines are a tool to address these root causes of STEM's diversity problem. Rube Goldberg machines are accessible. Anything can be upcycled into a chain reaction. They're fun and they're creative, and they encourage natural problem-solving skills. And they require failure and resilience. This attitude, called grit, has been linked to increased academic success as well as increased success in the workforce. And despite the importance of failure, however, I do want to say that there's a threshold, and I found it when I was 8 years old, because I loved Rube Goldberg machines, and I still do. But the levers and pulleys that were really easy to draw were hard to build, because it turns out Scotch tape and cardboard do not make a structurally sound lever. That was the original inspiration for Momentix, a gender-inclusive, research-based STEM toy kit. Our durable wooden pieces can be combined to make levers, pulleys, and ramps. Every kid we've tested with has found a completely new way to use our pieces, and we're currently at 68 combinations and counting. We also include extras like string, balls, and cups, so every kid feels like they can start building right when they open our box. Rather than boring instructions, we include our open-ended idea booklet, which encourages kids to use everything from Barbies to Hot Wheels and anything else they can find in their chain reactions. We also include our adaptation of the engineering design process, which we like to call the 6 steps to getting unstuck. Finally, we have our deck of 30 challenge cards, which range from create a machine that makes a noise to find a way to include a spoon. They range in difficulty and can be combined for even increasingly hard challenges. And this is just what comes in the box. There's even more on our website and app. 81% of kids between the ages 8 and 12 use YouTube, a site where Rube Goldberg machines have hit millions of views. On our site, kids can plan their ideas with our 2D contraption designer. They can share videos with their friends, and they can participate in online community challenges. One in 3 girls in STEM classes say they don't feel supported by teachers and classmates. And while we can't change this culture overnight, we can create a really supportive and inclusive online Momentix community. It costs $18 to make our physical kit, and we plan to sell them for $39.99 on our website. An additional $8 a month will get you our subscription kit, which will give additional challenges and pieces to keep your kit growing. And because equity in STEM starts with equity and education, we offer a 15% teacher discount.
Our product sits at the crossroads of the $1.35 trillion US education market and the $27 billion US toy market. Teachers and parents are our buyers, but at the core of our market are our users, kids ages 8 to 12. While the STEM toy market is growing, the vast majority of our competitors' products are screen-intensive or electronic. While we value our online community, Momentix is different because we're grounded in tactile play. In a year of product testing, we've gotten to know this market and validated our product market fit. On average, 9 out of 10 parents surveyed asked us some variation of, when can I buy this? But all of this didn't happen overnight.
Take a second.
Last year, we came to you with an idea, a toy kit. We received funding to design, prototype, and brand. Despite Alana working full-time since her graduation and me being a full-time double major student with 2 on-campus jobs, we've accomplished a lot. We've gone through 4 rounds of sketching, prototyping, testing, and refining, the very process our kit teaches to kids. We've tested with parents, with teachers, and with kids. We've taught ourselves machining, 3D modeling, Adobe, and laser cutting. We've expanded our social media presence. We've attended marketing seminars. We've consulted with educational toy experts. We've developed multiple relationships with international manufacturers, one of which made the toy sample you see in front of you today. And all of that led to this, the final Momentix design. We did exactly what we said we would do. Our kit is in front of you. Our website is just a few clicks away. You can go to momentixtoys.com right now to learn more about our product and sign up for our mailing list. And we've seen our kit work. 11-year-old Tony told us, when it doesn't work, I try and figure out what went wrong. STEM teacher Rich tells us he really believes in what we're doing. But we think 10-year-old Olivia sums it up best when she says, let's just say these are really cool. Seeing kids excited about Momentix makes us even more excited to bring our product to market, and we have a plan to do that. When I graduate in May, we will be able to fully transfer our potential energy to kinetic energy, moving full speed toward our September Kickstarter launch. By February of 2020, we will open our website for online sales. From there, we'll expand our outreach by partnering with schools and nonprofits. All of this translates to a projected total profit of $2.3 million by the end of 2022, and a profit margin of 32%, the industry standard for toys. But to get here, we'll need investment. We're asking for $25,000. $25K isn't enough for a small manufacturing run, but it is enough for the targeted advertising, high-quality branding, and web design we need to power the buzz of a $120,000 Kickstarter campaign. The remainder portion will cover the legal fees associated with making sure our website and our kit are safe for kids to use. Not only do we have a plan, but we're ready to execute. We're backed by a team of expert advisors in manufacturing, venture capital, and STEM education. Alana has a year of professional experience researching the retention of women in physics, and I have a year of AmeriCorps experience teaching science and math in underserved middle schools. A year in the business world has taught us it's not so different from the STEM world. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of asking questions, and a lot of the times we're the only women in the room. But through a year of growth, one thing hasn't changed, our vision. To build a world where fun doesn't necessarily mean more, where people aren't afraid to try and fail, and where physics can be accessible and appealing to everyone.
So we want to say thank you all for being here today. We're really honored to be back on this stage, and we just want to say thank you in true Momentix fashion. Yeah. Yeah, and we'd love to take questions.
So I have a question about STEM. Have you ever thought of sort of enlarging it and to STEMI?
STEMI?
The I is for invention, and the E is for entrepreneurship.
I haven't heard that one.
And-
I've heard
But I love it.
And the reason for that is that problem solving is so inherent and very attractive, particularly to little girls. And one reason, or a number of reasons they lose interest in STEM is peer pressure, is lacking good teachers, mentors. And so I was so happy to see you are sensitive to the mentorship issue in your problem write-up. But there's a lot of loss of interest in STEM, and so if you expand it a little more, include these other two opportunities or ways of looking at it, I think it might be important.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I
And
love
I think
that.
that's really at the core of it. And I hope that becomes a more used word rather than STEM.
Do you see a professional, even adult application to this? You know, team building, I think of developers, right? Teams of developers who could spend time with this.
When we were,
love playing with
yeah,
Right,
we
right,
do.
right.
Our roommates have done so. We've definitely thought about that, and it's come up in the process of developing our product. I think that's not the mission driving us, and so we're starting here. But I could see expanding to that market because definitely it is very collaboration oriented and definitely fun for adults too.
Yeah,
So
we've had somebody suggest that it would be a great drinking game. I don't know. That is not our core of where we're going to start, but there's a lot of uses for this product. Yeah.
You know, that could be some quick revenue. Just saying.
Great work. Love the grit emphasis. And I think Kickstarter is a good way to go. Give me a little more detail. Give us a little more detail on your marketing campaign to get that Kickstarter going in earnest, because it's all going to be about making sure that story's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely plan to do targeted advertising, and that's partly why we really want to make sure we have a high quality website, because we know that if people are seeing our Instagram, our Facebook ads, and then going to our website, it's got to be really good, so that we start building that mailing list base.
I would also say building our social media platforms up, because I think we know that Rube Goldberg machines have proven to be so viral and something people share naturally, and kind of taking that to our advantage to build up and make a really viral Kickstarter launch. Another thing we're thinking about is reaching out to our early adopters, such as teachers, and getting them really engaged, because we know that teachers and the increasingly millennial market is really word of mouth and excitement around the brand.
Yeah, teachers are a real market gateway for us.
Well, and to that point, I think the video, you need a solid video story on that Kickstarter.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I want to say I thought the branding looked pretty well developed already, so I don't know that you really need to put that much more into it. I kind of stuck in my head like Louis Vuitton or something, so I like the colors and the logo. It's great.
Thank you.
It really is. My question was around the subscription model. What are they going to get for that $8 a month?
That's a great question. So we want it, obviously $8 a month isn't very much, so you're not going to get a full kit, but we're thinking an additional piece and an additional some sort of programming, whether it's instructions, brainstorming tools, challenges, one of each of those pieces. And I think a lot of the fun around that is it's going to be a surprise. So when you open it up, you won't know what you're getting, and you'll have to find a way to incorporate it into the things you already have.
I guess I'm still curious a little bit about how this is going to help with diversity in STEM. I think you have a really clear product, something that's going to keep kids interested, motivating, is going to excite teachers. I don't totally see how that will help keep, especially women or other underrepresented communities in STEM. So I'd like to see more development on that, or maybe some more of your thoughts. That's probably my main question.
Yeah, there's research that shows emphasizing the potential of STEM or STEMI to be a creative pursuit, and emphasizing its ability to have a social impact is really keeps girls more involved in STEM. So here's a graphic representing that. But if extracurricular pursuits like Momentix or in-class pursuits emphasize those aspects, then girls are more likely to stay involved. And additionally, we hope that the mentorship community that we strive to create is representative of many different identities, and that any kid using the platform can find someone that looks like them or is from somewhere like them or from a similar background to look up to and talk to and be a good mentor and role model.
Yeah, and additionally, that's really part of the core of why we're doing this. So we had that timeline that says kind of vaguely outreach and partnering with educators, but that's really something we've thought a lot about, and getting this in the hands of teachers is a way to introduce the idea of Rube Goldberg machines. And we're presenting the idea of Rube Goldberg machines alongside the terms of momentum and force and energy and the word physics, because I'm thinking back to, I loved Rube Goldberg machines like my entire life, and I honestly did not know what physics was until you get to high school. You see so many chemistry kits, biology kits, and so many coding kits now, but physics is still this kind of abstract thing, and just connecting that language with something that's like visual and intuitive and fun and not just about math is really important, I think, to the diversification of STEM.
Let's give have another round of applause for all of our amazing teams today? Okay, I'm going to turn the program over to Abu and Jessica now for more raffle drawings, the cheering competition, and some entertainment from CC's Bluegrass Ensemble while I convene with the judges. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to have 2 more raffle drawings. The 4th one is going to be the grand prize. It's a really good one. For the 3rd one, Jessica's going to pick out the winner. For the 3rd one, we have another CC Bookstores sweatshirt, Josh and John gift card, Ladyfinger Letterpress gift vouchers, and 2 $25 Sunwater Spa passes. Those are very fancy. So the number is 342234. Anybody? All right, let me say that again. 342234. Let's pick up another one. We'll pick out another one. Don't worry about it. Yeah. All right. 342240. Anybody? Nobody. Three, 4, 2, 2, 5, 4. 5, 4. No one. Is that you? All right, there we go. All right, now for the grand raffle prize. It's a total of $400 worth of gift cards. There's 4 $50 Poor Richards gift card, 2 $50 Mountain Equipment Recyclers gift card, 1 $50 Ladyfinger Letterpress gift card, and 1 $50 Mountain Chalet gift card. Semi-final judges, do you have a raffle? All right, so let's pick out the lucky winner. It is 342216. No one? 16? 2216? No? All right. Next one. You guys are still in the race. All right. 342228. Awesome. Congratulations. Now we're going to have a bit of a cheering competitions for our teams today who did such a wonderful job. The team which gets the loudest cheer is going to get to go on a dinner with our director, Des Stone Menendez. So I'm going to call out the team's name and cheer as loud as you can for them, all right? So our first team who presented today, Infinite Chemistry. All right. Good cheer. Second team for Sapphire. Okay. Third team, Advanced Water Sensing. Good. We've got good supporters over here. And finally, the last but not the least team, Momentix. Okay. I think there's a very close tie between the third and the fourth team, so we're going to go one more time, all right? So let's hear it for Advanced Water Sensing. right, good job, all the supporters. Now let's hear it for Momentix. After hearing all your cheers and discussing it with Jessica, I think Momentix is the winner for the cheering competition. All right. Now we have the CC Bluegrass Ensemble who are going to come and entertain you guys for a while the judges are deliberating. You can see them in the screen. The members of the ensemble are Claire Eddy, Francis Murray, Jack Sherrod, Ben Shumlin. Please welcome them. Thank you very much.
I'm tired of laying in bed, listening to the water run. Ceilings falling in, baby's dress is covered in dust. I don't care what it costs, baby, dust that whole thing off. Well, it's one more night in Brooklyn, baby, we're getting lost. And I ain't taking you home, I found a little place that'll do. It'll never match the beauty of a Tennessee spring, but it's something new. Let 'em say what they'll say, I'll find a way that will make 'em pay. Yeah, it's one more night in Brooklyn, baby, that's just all I can take. One more night. Tired of waiting on you, waiting on a train. Tired of your late night calls with you saying no complaints. So you pack up your bags, yeah, start looking west for tonight. You're making a list, yeah, making damn sure we don't leave nothing behind. Baby, put your hands on me. Let's get real high, yeah, let's go to sleep. Yeah, it's one more night in Brooklyn, baby, that's all I can take. One more night, yeah, it's one more night in Brooklyn, baby, that's just all I can take. A star seems to whisper and say, your sweetheart has found another, and now she's far, far away. Your sweetheart has found another, and now she's far, far away.
All the way to Jackson, I don't think I'll miss you much. All the way to Jackson, I don't think I'll miss you much. Once I get to Lafayette, I'm not gonna mind one bit. Once I get to Lafayette, I won't mind one little bit. Once I get to Baton Rouge, I won't cry a tear for you. Once I get to Baton Rouge, I won't cry one tear for you. All the way to Jackson, I don't think I'll miss you much. All the way to Jackson, I don't think I'll miss you much. Once I get to Vicksburg, I won't even feel nerves. Once I get to Vicksburg, I won't even feel nerves. All the way to Jackson,
Let's stand by while we find out if the judges are almost done. Five minutes? Just wanna do pitch back in there? All right, we're gonna pull a few out of up our sleeve. Out of our sleeve. Huh? Yeah. Just watch the chords, yeah.
Okay, so that's right, Kido.
Can't you hear the ripple of my big spike hammer? Lord, it's busting my side. I've done all I can do to keep that woman, still she's not satisfied. Hey, hey, Delamay, why do you treat me this way? Hey, hey, Delamay, I'll get even someday. I'm the best hammer swinger in this big section gang. Big Bill Johnson is my name. For this hammer that I swing for $1.50 a day, all for my Delamay. Hey, hey, Delamay, why do you treat me this way? Hey, hey, Delamay, I'll get even someday. Big spike hammer, big spike hammer.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your patience. That was a difficult deliberation. You all can stand up here with us. Bob is going to announce the winners.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad I wasn't a judge this year because it was really tough. We fortunately have a really good judging panel. They're smart and they're fair. But just my observation, having been a judge and having been to every one of these, all I can say is this is a really high-level group, and we're so, yeah. I mean, we are so proud of all of you, all the groups, because you're all winners. I mean, in my mind, you're all winners, and I think everyone would agree you did fabulous presentations. These were important ideas, you know, in many ways. They were all important ideas. You defended yourselves and explained things in a wonderful way. I mean, this was really high-class stuff. So we had to make decisions, though. And by the way, if there are any VCs sitting out here, any smart ones, they'd have their checkbooks out because, you know, there's some really viable ideas that are going to make people money and help change the world in a positive way. So we have 2 winners. The second place winner is, let me check, Advanced Water Systems, $10,000. I meant to say sensors, but not in one place. And the first place winner is Momentix, $15,000.
Again, thank you so much for coming. I ask that all the teams please stick around and talk to the judges. They all have feedback and things that they'd like to say to you all, and everyone is definitely a winner. This was a really hard year, so everyone did an incredible job. Thank you so much for coming.